Courage and the boldness that you gain after speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our show. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hawkenhall with the Crooked Necklace. Welcome, and joining me is my son, my co-host, Gene Williams.
Hello there, good people.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm doing profoundly great.
Okay.
And how art thou?
I am just wonderful. Splendid, my dear, splendid. Okay, hey y'all again. Welcome to our show. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? If you have already joined our show, we ask you to share your Facebook pages, share your pages so that people can join us and be a part of our conversation. So we are still talking about emotions and feelings. That's what we have been talking about. And we bring up different parts of bullying throughout our show as it pertains to what we're talking about. So go back a couple shows. We talked about emotional intelligence. We talked about emotions and feelings. We're still talking about it because it's a big part of what you're feeling and what you're experiencing when you're being bullied. So that's why we have taken on the subject to have a discussion about it. You want to add anything, Gene?
Nope, let's rock and roll.
All right. Okay, and to you fathers, we're not going to forget you fathers. Happy Father's Day. And thank you again for joining us. So, why do we have emotions? I'll let you start, Gene.
All righty. So emotions. Hey, Auntie, how you doing?
Hey, sis.
All right. Emotions dictate our response to most stimuli, whether that determines what's important or harmful to us. Without our emotions, we'd have terrible social skills, poor instincts, and no ability to behave appropriately in difficult situations.
Before you go to the next part, did you want to add something to that?
No.
Okay, so I forgot to say, you can watch us on TV right now on Roku and on Amazon Fire. Just go to those two and search POD TV space LIVE, and you can watch us live on TV right now. Otherwise, you can conversate with us here on Facebook live or YouTube live, our YouTube channel, Love Misunderstood Institute. So I just wanted to add that. Or you can watch us on podtv.tv online. You can watch us there. I think I got everything. Okay, so that's it.
All right. Also, Premier Fitness, 0210-210.
Thank you.
As well.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So dealing with unconscious emotions. The thing with emotions is they are always present, even if we're not aware of them. Suppressing or ignoring them can lead to toxic behaviors and poor mental health, which is why psychotherapists have their clients identify their emotions. Once they do, they cannot break out of those. They can break out of those toxic cycles and address those emotions head on.
So identify your feelings, and then you're able to break out of those toxic cycles. I had to reiterate that because we have to, and we've been talking about this, we have to acknowledge that an emotion exists. We have to acknowledge that a feeling exists. If we don't acknowledge that they exist, they can't be fixed. As far as we're concerned, it doesn't exist. So we have to verbally admit this is a thing, this is happening, and I don't want it no more. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and it's just like AA. The first step to recovery is acknowledging that you have a problem.
Yeah.
So same thing with the emotions. To acknowledge that you have a certain feeling about something, let you know, well, okay, now I can actually process and deal with this. Now that I at least put my finger on what the problem is.
Right. That's good. Very good.
All right. Feelings are related to basic emotions, but they play a different role in our lives. Here's how both work together to shape your experiences. Number one, feelings are more specific than emotions. While there are 6 universal emotions, human beings can experience them differently. For example, we might experience anger through feelings of aggression, vengefulness, or resentfulness. These are different expressions of that core emotion. They are more specific than simply saying, I'm angry.
Yep.
For instance, I'm angry about stubbing my toe this morning when I stepped out of bed. I'm angry because I can't pay this bill. And I don't know where the money coming from. I'm angry because you keep looking at me like that. Why you keep looking at me like that?
Beverly, you praying for your nephew? Because he's going to start talking crazy in a minute. You know that one word he just enjoys saying now?
It might come up. It might listen. I'm going to figure it out how to get it in there. Leave it up in there for you.
We gave him a little room, and now he just didn't want.
I'm about to take a mile on
you. Mark said he needs plenty of prayers on a Sunday after all.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Raise your hands. Raise your hands.
Wave your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care.
Hallelujah.
All right. Are we at number 1?
2.
Oh, I'm behind. You got it, or you want me to go?
I can go. I can do it.
Okay.
All right. So, feelings are our learned response to an emotional trigger. Even though everyone is capable of joy and fear, every person will have a different experience of emotion. Our learned and unconscious mental associations will determine this subjective experience. Let's say you have arachnophobia.
Ooh.
Yeah. Spiders, man. Listen, they're a little sneaky devil. That's why I pick my shoes up and shake them out before I put them on my feet. That's what the old folks say. Shake your shoe before you put them on.
That's smart.
You know. Anyway, okay, sorry. At some point in your life, because of a negative experience, you learn that you should respond to spiders with horror. But here's the thing. That feeling of horror is just one way to experience fear. There are other ways of responding to that emotion. Someone might feel thrilled when they're afraid. So even though you both fear the spider, you'll react differently.
Yep.
Like some people love to be afraid, hate to be afraid and things like that. And other people who like to be afraid get on roller coasters and skydive and stuff like that. Roller coasters I can do. Skydiving, I don't know, partner. Listen, man. I don't know that. Listen, because I have like 3 parachutes. I need 3 parachutes. Just in case the first 2 do not work.
For a whole lot of safety measure, huh?
Man, listen, I ain't playing. I'm gonna have cushions on and all types of stuff. So if I hit the ground, I bounce. Bounce like a bad check.
I'm having problems with my Facebook. All right, so number 3.
Yeah,
Number 3.
Yeah, you want me to do it?
No, I will.
Okay.
Feelings are conscious experiences or sometimes unconscious emotions, often because of trauma. Did you share your Facebook? You can share while I read.
Social media today.
You know what?
I'm not doing social media today.
Okay. Dang it. Okay, I'll find it in a minute. I found it and then I went away from it to look on the business page. Okay, feelings are conscious experiences of sometimes unconscious emotions, often because of trauma. Feelings can manifest as conscious thoughts of unconscious negative emotions. Some adults grow resentful of their parents, but there could be many underlying emotions to that feeling. As a child, you may have experienced fear due to parental abuse or being angry because of your parents' divorce. These traumatic emotions can be invisible to us for a long time, and unless we identify them, our feelings can fester and damage our mental health. It's so important to acknowledge our feelings and to deal with them instead of letting them go long term. So I just wanted to add that. If you think this is the case for you, we recommend seeing a therapist or mental health professional to work through traumatic experiences. You can also call 988 to talk to a mental health therapist. So when you see that there's a problem that you're having an issue dealing with, you don't want to go years holding on to things because, like it said, they fester and it breeds other stuff that would not necessarily be breeded if you would have dealt with the situation when it first occurred or shortly afterwards. And I have to admit that I have still struggle admitting that sometimes a certain thing is happening, or admitting my feelings about something. And I'm a whole lot better about it. Now I can see it and don't let it hang on as long as I used to. It used to be months and years that I would hang on to things. And it was out of fear. And the fear was, if I acknowledge this thing, as hurtful, and then continue to go around this person, they're going to continue to do the same things for me. So I'm putting this fence around me, or this fence around me so that they can't come closer to me. And so I also see me dealing with some of those things now. The good thing about all of that is that, like I said, I don't hold on to it as long, but it's a process. I'm handling and dealing with those things a lot faster because I know the long-term damage it can do. And that's what I don't want.
Right.
And so it's on Institute page and your personal page. You just check. Okay. Thank you, Mark. So we have to, and then the other part, and this has really been bothering me, is when you hold on to things and internalize it, it negatively affects and impacts your internal organs. And that's the part that is really starting to bother me, because I'm not 12 no more. I'm not 25 no more. So that has really been a huge thing for me. You want to say something?
Yeah, as I was saying, and oftentimes repressed emotions manifest in the body as disease.
Yeah.
Not only, like cancer and things of that nature, but also, like you said before, mental health issues.
Yeah.
So it has its ways manifesting in your world. That's why it's important to, like you said in the last little thing about having, a therapist to
Yeah.
process. Like I really feel like people should have a therapist that you regularly talk to about everyday stuff and especially traumatic experiences. Like you have to process them immediately. To suppress emotions, to me, from my perspective, is like taking a seed and throwing dirt on it, and then constantly throwing dirt on it, thinking you're going to bury it forever.
Yeah.
And what happens? You grow a garden of
Yeah.
things that you repressed, and now you got all of these Venus flytraps and other things like that. You know what I mean? Devouring everything around you because you have to process, this traumatic experience that transpired how many years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, therapy is very important. Acknowledging things, admitting that they're happening, and dealing with those things in a way that's going to help you get past it. So, however that looks, and therapy is definitely a great deal because great thing because they have been trained on how to help you process your emotions and your trauma. So that you can get past it. So,
Right. And even something that you can do in between therapy sessions is journal. Journaling is a great thing as well.
yeah,
Writing down your emotions as you identify, in written form. So now you have a document showing, hey, I know what this is. Now it's just I have to put together the steps to help me to get to the level where I want to be.
yeah. So, and that's the thing, what you just said, getting to the level that you want to be on. So, you know, looking at as a coach, looking at the thing that you're currently in and deciding where you want to be. So now I know where I want to be. So how am I going to get there? And those are the steps that you're taking to get to that long-term goal that you want to get out of this frame of thinking, this way of thinking. So you want to add something else?
Nope.
So your environment can influence your feelings. Our family, social circles, faith, and culture determine how we respond to certain emotions. For example, social circles that promote toxic masculinity may cause men to express emotions in unhealthy ways. In these environments, they're often shamed for expressing feelings related to sadness. Example, boys don't cry, hearing things like that. And why don't you man up? So, those things help you suppress your feelings and help you to suppress what you're experiencing instead of, talking about it. So, this kind of conditioning teaches men to express this emotion through rage, substance abuse, or eating disorders. These are unhealthy responses to an otherwise healthy emotion.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Emotions are natural, as I said before. We all experience them at all times. It's just the way that we process it, determines if the emotion is good or not. Really, the emotion itself is neutral. It's your action, your response to it.
Yeah.
And being able to respond well, and intelligently, like we talked about emotional intelligence. So processing the emotion in an intelligent and healthy, constructive fashion is the goal. Especially in a world where as opposed to you a man, muscle up, you say it with your chest. I did say it with my chest. But now, but now we have to allow ourselves, because obviously, like I said, that's a conditioning that's been throughout generations about men. Men are not supposed to feel emotion. You're supposed to be hard, and that's why again, men, commit suicide at higher rates, commit homicide at higher rates, things of that nature. So it's imperative that we go through the process of acknowledging and processing emotions in a healthy manner as a culture, as a society, and as a world as a whole.
I just read some of what Mark said. So the thing about what Gene just said, and what I read, about men and boys, boys don't cry. Why don't you man up? That you have to think about, how does that make me feel when I do that? As a person. So as a man, for example, if you're, because you're being told that, you have to decide, is that healthy for me? I mean, I'm feeling this anger, I'm feeling this, frustration, but I'm told not to show my emotions, to man up, and boys don't cry, but I feel like crying, So in holding those things in, like you said, creates anger, and then you're doing all kind of stuff, so you have to decide, this is what I was taught, this is what I was told. I don't like that. So I'm about to be a change agent. I'm about to be a generational curse breaker. That's a lie from the enemy. And I'm going to express myself. I'm going to talk about what hurts me. I'm not going to hide it and cover it up, because it's only covered up for a certain amount of time. And then I'm going to explode. I don't like how I act when I hold things in.
Right.
I don't like how I respond when I man up. I don't like, so you have to decide. It's your choice. So this is what you were taught. You don't like it. It doesn't work for you. What will?
Right.
Yep. So you got to decide. You want to change the trajectory of your life and what you were taught, because it's not good for you. It's not working for you. It makes you act in ways that you don't want to act.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that.
And also, I want to say this, and some people may get mad about it. I really don't care. But to me, like, it's suppressing your emotions is nothing manly about that. There's nothing manly about that. A real man is able to process emotions in a healthy way and do something constructive with it. A boy is taught to hold it in, so it's like there's a maturity gap there, as it pertains to emotions. You're a truly grown man feels emotions and processes them and then uses them to make himself better.
Yeah, that's good.
And push forward. Little boys are the ones who suppress. So the ones who tell you not to express your emotions, you have to think about the fact that they have not matured past a certain point.
Yeah.
They're still at 12 years old and they ain't in their 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Wow. I never thought about it like that. But that's the little boy in you.
Right.
That's saying, I got to do this. I can't cry. I can't show my emotions.
Right.
And so, but you're older than that. You're not that little boy, like you said, in maturity. You have to, I'm 40 years old. I can't act like I did when I was, or respond to this like I did when I was 12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So having a temper tantrum. What are you doing? You sit in the corner. Put your nose in the corner. Stop looking around.
Oh, shoot. Okay, let's move on from that. I feel like there was enough heart to heart on that. So where are we? You can go ahead.
Feelings, emotions, and your mental health. Some days it would be easier to be a robot. They're smart, have superhuman strength, and don't have to deal with the messiness of human emotions. But robots, for all of their brilliance, miss out on the beautiful parts of life, including the mess. Instead of abandoning our emotions, we must live harmoniously with them. And to do that, We have to understand how emotions and feelings work. Navigating your inner world can be overwhelming. Feelings and emotions are messy, and it isn't easy to see how they influence your behavior. But if left unmanaged, they can have serious effects. People with unacknowledged emotions and traumas can develop substance abuse disorders, anxiety, depression, among other mental health challenges. They may also express their emotions in unhealthy manners, hurting the people around them. At the office, this could mean narcissistic behavior, like taking credit for someone else's work, but it can come out as frequent, spontaneous crying at home. You never know. If your behavior hurts you or other people, it might be time to seek professional help.
Yep. 988 is a mental health hotline.
Oh, yeah.
Call them. If you don't have somebody that you can trust, call them so that you're not hanging on to things that are hurtful and harmful to you, and then it spills out onto other people. Hurt people hurt people.
And like Miss Cleo would say, calm it out.
All right, 4 tips for managing your feelings and emotions. Short of professional help, there are many things you can do at home to manage your feelings and emotions. Here are 4 things you can try. Acknowledge your emotions. Don't suppress them. Thank you, Mark. Emotions are a natural part of life. Repressing them will only lead to problems down the road. They can even cause issues to your physical state of being, like anxiety, depression, self-deprivation, pain and body aches, stress, and substance abuse. Try to name what you're feeling. Sometimes that's all it takes to reduce their power over you. Their power, the anxiety, the depression, the sleep deprivation, the pain and body aches, the stress, the substance abuse. If you talk about the thing, it reduces the power. You're no longer allowing it to have power over you, but you're saying, I see you.
Right.
And you're not going to ruin my life like you're trying to do. So try to name what you're feeling. Sometimes that's all it takes to reduce their power over you. I just read that. Plus, if you can identify your feelings, you can take an action to mitigate them. You have to acknowledge that it's a thing.
Yep.
To decrease the power of the thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So I'll let you go.
Number 2, accept your emotions. Accepting and acknowledging aren't the same thing. It's one thing to name your emotions. It's another to allow them to exist within you. If you can accept that emotion will always be a part in your life, play a part in your life, you can work towards being comfortable with them. So it's important to understand, okay, I'm angry right now. All right, so I need to take a step back. Once you're able to acknowledge it, accept that that's where you are. All right, the next step is number 3. We're going to take a breath. When experiencing intense emotions, our minds race in every direction. Take slow, deep breaths, and it will help bring you back to reality. Part of this has to do with biology. When you breathe slowly, it reminds your brain that you are not in danger. How could you be? If you were, you'd likely be running away, full of adrenaline and out of breath. Breathing reminds us that we're, in fact, safe. Breathing also helps redirect your attention. It focuses your mind on your body rather than your emotions.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you see how with the simple act of breathing, you take your power back.
Yep. And so what I was getting ready to say is we had a master breathologist on one of our shows. It's one of the first 12 shows. and she talked about the importance of breathing. And Eliza Carter, and I can't remember the name of her, but she's a master breathologist, and she talked about how to breathe through stressful situations, or just how to breathe when your breathing is not, yeah, and when you're stressed. Right. So go back to the first 12, they're marked, and you will see which one it is. But she will teach you some breathing techniques to help you through stressful times and your intense emotions. Go ahead, number 4.
All righty. Learn how and when to express yourself, or also called emotional judgment. Our emotions need release, one way or another. It's your job to find healthy ways for that to happen. You might need to cry if you're sad, or scream into a pillow if you're angry. But the point is to avoid directing your emotions at others. Yes. And that is a huge thing. When we get angry or we're feeling emotions, as opposed to processing them within, we project them outwardly onto other people, and it causes chaos and arguments and unnecessary turmoil in your relationships. That's why it's important that when you feel something strongly, take a step away from everything and everyone so that you can breathe, process, and then go back to your interaction with people in your life in a healthy way. Because it's easy to be, and not even be mad at the person that you just went off on. You mad at the person who just called you asking you for $1,000 that you didn't have. And now you're going off on your kids because he bumped into the wall. You mad at him, or you mad at the person on the phone? That's something that you ain't got. So that's why you take a step back. You process, you breathe, and you're able to deal with life, as basically in a situation where it's supposed to be dealt with, or the way it's supposed to be dealt with. You didn't have to go off on your child for bumping into the wall. Stuff happens. Hey, boy, watch out. Y'all ain't doing that. I'm sorry, Mama. I just want to go to the wall.
Mark said you are mad at the spider and you screamed at the other person. And thank you, Mark. Eliza, the master breathologist, the name of her business is the Breathing Experience, LLC. So Eliza Carter, the Breathing Experience. So if you go back, like I said, it's one of the first 12 videos that we did, discussions that we had. And as a matter of fact, we had her on our show twice. So you can learn more from that about breathing. The importance of breathing is very important. So the bottom line: suppress your feelings and emotions. Suppressing your feelings and emotions is like swimming along against the tide. Doing so will only leave you out of breath and tired and put you in danger of drowning. It's easier to go with the flow. Let the emotions run through you, the good and the bad. It's a part of life. It's what we do with those emotions that makes the difference.
Exactly.
Or that becomes toxic or healthy. So it's your choice. This is the emotion I'm feeling. What am I going to do with it? Do I want this? Do I like it? If I don't, what am I going to do with it? So you have a choice. And that's one of the biggest things I've learned, especially recently, is we have a choice in everything. It doesn't matter what it is. We have a choice, and we change the thing by making a choice. I don't like it. I want better. So I make a choice. I don't like it. I want better. That's a choice. It's that simple. Right. So that's just one thing. So you want to add something?
I mean, it's easy, And it's also difficult because we tend to hold on and clasp things. No, if it goes away, I don't know what's going to replace it. Just let it go. LIG.
And you said this a lot lately, and you said it on last week's show. It's walking by faith. You know, you don't know what it's going to be, but you know it. You don't want this.
Right.
You don't want this feeling. So what's the option? Walk the other direction, walking by faith, not knowing what's going to happen. I shared your poem.
Really?
That poem, yep. I shared that poem, and I said I was going to have it ready so I could read it and share it with the audience. But I didn't think about it for this particular thing. But I shared that with some ladies, and they were like, wow. And I told them, I said, this is one of the few times I can read this poem. And it's July 8th, 2002. Wow.
Yikes.
Almost 21 years ago.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I told him, I said, this hangs on my wall by my picture, the footprints. Footprints picture. So what Gene, he wrote a poem and he was 21. And he wrote this poem, and it's about walking by faith. And so it's, you know, and that's not the title of it. I can't remember the title of it. I can't see it over there. But he was talking about, you know, I'm walking. I don't know where I'm going, but I got to keep walking. And I hear this voice. I want to stop. And I hear this voice telling me, keep going. You can't stop now. And then, you know, and talking about a leader being a servant, and then Gene said, how can a leader be a servant? And so, you know, the poem goes on to say, I died for you. And I'm skipping a lot of parts. It's a long poem, but I'm giving you bits and pieces of it. I died for you, my child. Why are you being so selfish? Can't you just walk for me? So I start walking again. So and that's part of the poem. And so he's saying, I just keep walking, and all I see, Beverly remembers because I read it to her in tears. But I just keep walking is what the poem say. I just keep walking, and all I can see is the trees. I can't even see the light, but I just keep walking. So that poem means so much to me. And I told the ladies, I said, this is one of the few times that I was able to read this poem without crying. Mm-hmm. So most of the time when I read that, I'm feeling super low. I feel like I have no sense of direction, what's going on in my life or which way I'm supposed to be walking. And so I read it, and that's why I cry, because it's exactly what I'm feeling. You know, so anyway, thank you for that poem. You didn't know that poem was going to be what it is.
Right.
Hanging on my wall all these years and me constantly reading it. Like I said, when I feel lost, you know, because I read it. I can't tell you how often I read it. I don't read it daily or anything like that. But when I look at my big footprint picture, and you remember the picture that I bought in Atlanta, that picture, and then having that seems like footprints to me. Right. So that's why I have it by that picture.
Well, it was inspired by, if I remember correctly, you bought the picture, and then it inspired me. I mean, and obviously I was going through something at the time.
Yeah.
The picture kind of, you know, fit, you know, it was like they worked together.
Yeah.
Life imitates art, art imitates life, same thing.
Yeah. Well, I still say thank you, because that poem means so much to me, and that's why I kept it, and that's why I put it in frames, because I need it, and I didn't know I was going to need it as much as I have needed it throughout these 21 years, but I've needed it.
I'm just glad it could be a blessing. Like I said, I wrote from a you know, standpoint of a person who's going through what I wrote about.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was like me just writing down my life on paper, and it blessed somebody. So
yeah,
I'm glad to, you know, have been a blessing.
So go to
bottom line.
Go ahead and read that. I'm about to find this because I just sent it to somebody. And that ain't it. I want to read this poem, y'all. Go ahead. It ain't.
While I read.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, folks. The bottom line. Suppressing your feelings and emotions is like swimming against the tide. Doing so will only leave you out of breath and tired and put you in danger of drowning. It's easier to go with the flow. Let your emotions run through you, the good and the bad. A peak cannot exist without a valley. And knowing why feelings are important will help you accept them. Emotional regulation can be difficult. That's why it's important to develop your coping skills now, before your emotions become overwhelming. But with the right tools, you can process them in a healthy way.
Let me know when you're at a stopping point because I'm not on there anymore.
Okay.
You at a stopping point?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's this poem, y'all. Everyday unknown walk of life, walk with God. Heavy head up from my pillow, looking towards the light. Mucus-covered eyes made my sight blurry. As I looked at the time, questions in my head ring loudly. Where am I going? But all I know is where I've been, barely cognizant of where I am. As my life plays out like a movie, untitled and undirected, I am just here. But where is here? I've been lost since I've seen the trees back yonder, but I continue to walk toward the light, because these trees block the light, making my vision limited only to when I see rays of light. But I continue to walk. Is this just aimless wandering, or should I call this faith? The storm clouds overhead start to drip doubt onto my path, and I desire to stop. But a voice inside me says, keep on moving. You're not done yet. So I continue to walk, and a bolt of lightning strikes a tree in front of me, and I desire to stop and turn around. But a voice inside me says, this way, my child, don't turn back now. So I continue to walk. Now the winds begin to blow forcefully against me, and my walk becomes harder, and I desire to sit. But that voice again speaks. No time to rest now. I'll pull you through. And I walk. But in anger, I yell, where in the hell am I going?
That word.
And that voice speaks and says, I am preparing you to be a leader and a servant. Follow me, and you'll see. My will for you is great. I just ask for you to follow me in faith. And the answer leaves me befuddled, asking myself how a leader can be a servant. Asking, is there fame for me there? Asking, what will I receive? And the voice speaks to me and tells me, this journey is not about you. This walk is to glorify me. The pain and confusion you experience is to bring you closer to me. And I stop, thinking to myself, then why am I even walking? And the voice speaks, you selfish child, I have blessed you exceedingly with talent, continuously shown you my love, given you direct access to my Father, and you cannot walk from me? Did my sacrifice mean nothing to you? And I ask, what sacrifice was that? And he says, I died for you. I carried your sins. I carried your cross, and I shed my blood so that you could have everlasting life. Feeling selfish and heavy with grief, I said, forgive me, Father. I didn't mean to be so selfish. He said, you are forgiven, my child. Now, continue to walk for me. So I continue to walk. And like I said, that was July 8th, 2002.
Wow.
Almost exactly 21 Years ago.
Wow.
So y'all, this week my baby will be celebrating his 42nd birthday on the 23rd. What Thursday, I think. Think
Friday.
it's
Friday.
Is it Friday?
It's Friday.
Okay. So y'all, that poem, like I said, has meant so many to me for so many years. And to be, I mean, like when he wrote that, all right, Mark, July 1st. Okay. July 1st birthday.
My cancer brother right there. That's my cancer brother.
So y'all, like I said, that poem has meant so much to me for so many years, and it has really helped me through a lot of hard times. And I'm just so grateful. And when, like what I was getting ready to say is when he wrote that, I'm like, this child's 21. How did he get that? I mean, it just blew my mind. And I say blew my mind. It just really tripped me out because of the words he was saying and how that, like I said, just went along with the footprints to me. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. I'm so happy I got to share it. Thank you, son. Thank you, son. You didn't know, like I said, what that was going to do for me. But I shared it with different people. Bev was one. I, read it to her. And the people that I've shared it with has meant a lot to them. So where are we? You want to add something?
Emotions in the body. Like I said, I'm glad it's blessed people. Like I said, you heal from healing yourself. You heal others by healing yourself. And that was, again, the process. So, as we all often talk about how we deal with and process, trauma in our lives, writing is one of those for me. Writing, music, movement, things of that nature.
Yeah.
A blessing to be a blessing.
Amen.
All right. Emotions in the body. Our emotions are controlled by a group of brain structures called the limbic system. The limbic system releases chemicals which spur on our emotional states. The type of emotion we feel depends on which chemicals have been released. For example, the hormone oxytocin allows us to experience feelings of love. Emotions not only reflect our mental states, they also alter our body chemistry and functioning. For example, when we feel fear, our sympathetic nervous system activates. Our pupils dilate, our heart rate begins to rise, and we may start sweating. Conversely, our bodily state can affect our emotions. If you're angry or afraid, you can take deep breaths to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This system slows your heart rate and helps you calm down, or also very similar to the breathing that you do in yoga. Boom. Cross culture.
I want to, before you go on, I want to interject.
Yeah.
How different parts of the body is connected and how different parts of the body are affected by different things happening in your life. I mean, our body is truly connected to our emotions and our feelings.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that.
Yep. And also, it just showed that a lot of our reactions are chemical reactions, that are caused by the emotions that we're experiencing. So, I mean, everything works in concert together, which is why the Bible says, and other holy books have said, the body is fearfully and wonderfully made. So many intricate systems, like working together seamlessly, is amazing.
Yep.
Yep. So I love what I do as a personal trainer and a yoga instructor. Like, wow, the body can do so many things.
Yeah. And can be torn down so easily.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. and also adapts. Like that's the crazy thing. One of its greatest superpowers is the ability to adapt. For instance, if we're talking on the negative side, if you have one cell that's a cancer cell, that thing can multiply and then take over your cells in a way that your body starts attacking itself. That's what cancer is. So it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And then you do the stark opposite. They have a whole bunch of cancer cells, and you start to do things that will make you healthy, and you start to multiply your healthy
cells. That's good.
So,
Yep. And it's all how? It's all because you made a choice.
Exactly.
You make a choice to, I got a cancer cell. Oh, well, feeling bad about it and all of that. So the negative aspect of that is it recreates other cancer cells. And if you're like, no, this is a lie, this ain't happening, this ain't what this is what can I do to change this? How can I change my eating habits or exercise or whatever? How can I make this better? Then it changes to a good cell or, and so, wow, that's something how that happens. Yeah. But it's because of a choice.
Exactly.
I made a choice to believe that, or I made a choice not to believe that. So since I don't believe that, what can I believe to change this thing? Right. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Preach, preacher.
Yeah. And like we said, our emotions download to our cellular level. And the more you feel something, the more it multiplies. So that one cell multiplies to 2 to 4, 4 to 6, so on and so forth. And then next thing you know, you got a whole body of cells that are feeling this particular emotion that either is building you up or tearing you down.
Yep.
Because of a choice you made to either process or not process.
Yep.
Emotional trauma.
Yep.
So that's why it's very important, because literally every 7 years, your entire body is brand new, and it's built off of the food and the emotions that you've displayed over time. It rebuilds your body in the image of the food that you've eaten. So when they say you are what you eat, you are literally what you eat, not only physically by putting it into your mouth or by drinking it, but also what you feed your attention to.
Yeah.
What you feed your consciousness to, or allow your consciousness to be fed to. So it's important that we're very judicious about our energy.
Yep.
How we utilize it and who we let use it.
Yep.
Who we let use it. We have to be very judicious. You have to keep your circle full of people who are going to edify you, so you keep good emotions going.
Yep. So I want to ask you this question. Thanks, Beverly. We're glad this is blessing you. Mark, you a mess. So, Gene, I just saw a video today that talked about eating certain color foods does certain things in your body.
Sure.
Did you know that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So that video really tripped me out. I was like, I got to watch that video again, and I didn't. I know where I got it from. Eliza sent it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Each color has a vibration to it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Every color of a food has a vibration. And if you're looking for instance, if you're looking for a higher vibration, you want to do brighter vegetables.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a calmer space, you need your darker ones, that's why, like in the winter, you eat a lot of soups and things like that, things that have weight on it, that'll keep your body warm. And then in times of when it's already hot outside, you do things like leafy greens, things that are lighter, so that your body can utilize the energy effectively.
Wow. So Mark said he loved green and red foods.
Mm-hmm.
And tomatoes can be good, and watermelon. So what are those colors? The red. I'm gonna go back and watch that video, because I was like, what in the world? And so he was talking about them. Purple does this. I think no, eggplant and grapes, purple. And so he's talking about like foods that are purple, foods that are red, foods that are green,
Right.
and I think yellow.
Right. So, for instance, Mark said something about red. He said watermelon, and what was the other one?
Tomatoes.
Tomato. So tomatoes are great for your, especially for men's prostate. It's a cleanser. And you got to think about the fact that, again, watermelon is red, and it's also a great diuretic. You want to flush out your system. You want maybe go on a fast with high vibrational red things like tomato and watermelon to help flush you out.
Okay, so I just thought of something else that so I knew about cranberry juice getting rid of certain things in your body. Right. But one of the things that I just read a few days ago, and I went and bought me some cranberry juice yesterday and drank it and been drinking it because it's supposed to help your blood sugar, lower your blood sugar and your blood pressure.
Right.
And I didn't know that.
And it also flushes your liver.
Wow. So I'm like, man, some of the stuff I've been feeling and experiencing has raised my blood sugar and my blood pressure. Yeah. And I'm like, listen, no, this can't be a thing. So then when I read that, it just tripped me out how it came to me. I can't even remember how it came to me. It was something that I saw. And I was like, okay, I knew cranberry juice gets rid of, cleanses you, when you're, for when you're getting high, I just say it, when you're getting high, it cleanses you, for testing. And so I didn't know that it lowered your blood pressure and your blood sugar.
Right.
So, man, so Beverly, I know you listening. So you have to get, the cranberry juice that has no sugar. So all they had was the one with 28 grams of sugar. That's the regular cranberry juice. And the other was the diet. So I just got diet, and I'm sure it has, sucralose in it.
Right.
But I don't want no sugar. So, so those were the choices because the purpose is to lower the blood sugar.
Look out for raw. They have raw. You may have to go to a Whole Foods type store to get the raw cranberry that actually uses the fruit sugar, and then you can use something like monk fruit or something like that to sweeten it. But it would be a healthy version because you don't want the sucralose long term because it causes cancer.
Yeah.
You also don't want the regular sugar the white sugar because it causes diabetes and other things like that. So if you get anything raw, it's always best.
So, and they were saying that the raw cranberries are the best, but that they are bitter tasting. Right. So just get them and blend them up and put Monk's fruit sugar in it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that you can actually get a raw juice. It's cranberries without the sucralose and without the white sugar. You can get the kind with monk fruit, the sweetened with monk fruit.
Okay.
And they also have there's another one. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
They have one that's raw.
So y'all, we got off on this because we were talking about I need that video. So we got off on the food because Gene said you are what you eat. And it made me remember what the conversation that we just had. So, and that's important for those that are listening to the video, or that hear the video later. So where are we again? It's time for us to stop, but where are we again?
Cross-cultural research.
Okay. Yes. All right. So y'all, we will be talking about emotions and feelings again on our next show because there's still much for us to cover. And this is an important subject because, again, when you're being bullied, you have and experience all these different emotions and feelings. And we're sharing this information and discussing it so that you know what to do, how to respond to these feelings and emotions, and to get yourself some help. The mental health hotline, call 988. Thank you, Mark.
And
So
also,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
In the next show, we'll get into more detail about how emotions manifest in the body. The conversation we were just having, now we get to dive a little deeper. So make sure that you tune in.
Thank you for that. So we thank you for being a part of the show. We thank you for listening to this discussion, even if it's after the fact. We know whoever is supposed to hear this will hear this, and we are excited about it and excited about being able to provide this information to you. So we send you away. We send you with peace. We send you love and joy, and stay happy and joyful. No matter what's going on, focus on being happy and being joyful. So take care. We will see you at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time next Sunday, right here, wherever you're looking at us on. Take care and bye for now. See you later.